You can feel it, can't you? That feeling that something's off, that a line has been crossed. Well, most people just haven't seen the pattern yet. We're about to show it to you.
All those headlines, all that tension you feel, it's easy to just write it off as random, right? But it's not. This is not just noise. And let me be clear, it is absolutely not chaos. Chaos is messy, it's unplanned, but what we're seeing? Oh, this has a blueprint, a very specific one. This is movement. Every single action is deliberate, it's calculated, and it's following a playbook for power that is as old as it is dangerous. And all of this forces us to ask a really uncomfortable question, a question most people are probably too scared to even whisper. Is this war? Just by another name? Because once I show you this pattern, you will never be able to unsee it.
Okay, so let's pull back the curtain and decode this thing. It's called the Threatened Power Playbook, and the idea at its core, it's simple, and honestly, it's terrifying. When a leader feels their power slipping, their first move isn't to back down or compromise. Nope, it's to attack. And that attack has a name. It's called the strategy of escalation. You know, this isn't some new invention. It's a classic playbook straight out of the history books. When leaders feel their grip start to loosen, the last thing they'll do is show weakness. Instead, they do the exact opposite. They project overwhelming force to just crush anyone who disagrees and steamroll any doubt.
The strategist Robert Greene absolutely nailed this dynamic. He wrote, "When leaders feel legitimacy slipping, they do not self-correct. They advance." Think about that. They don't fix the problem. They double down. This isn't just a guess about the future. It's a diagnosis of how power acts when it's cornered.
So the big question is, how is this playbook being used right now, today? Let's get into it, because this escalation is happening on all fronts, and you've got to understand, it follows a very specific, deliberate sequence.
All right, so here's the breakdown, the 4 steps of advancement. Step 1, you overwhelm everyone with noise. Donald Trump is a master of this, flooding the zone with so much conflict, so many controversies, that you can't focus on any one thing. It's strategic saturation. Step 2, project power outward. Start a fight on the world stage to distract from problems at home. Step 3, weaponize the economy. Think tariffs, trade wars, using money as a club. And the final step, force loyalty. You make being neutral, staying on the sidelines, so incredibly painful that everyone is forced to pick a side, his side.
But here's the thing. While all this chaos is manufactured at home to keep everyone distracted, something else is happening, something much more dangerous on the world stage. The trust that holds alliances together, it's just collapsing.
So look at how this happens. It's a chain reaction. First, the polls turn hostile, weakening his legitimacy at home. So what does Donald Trump do? He unleashes that strategic saturation we talked about. But here's the critical turning point. Our allies get nervous. They start thinking, can we trust him with our secrets? And they stop sharing vital intelligence. And this is the part that should scare you. A leader who is isolated, cut off from good information, they don't get more careful, they get reckless. You have to understand, this isn't just a battle of policies and politics. The real battlefield, it's inside your own head. This is a war for your mind, a war where words become weapons, and the very meaning of language starts to break down and turn into brute force.
Just look at how this works. They twist the meaning of everything. A war to preserve peace. I mean, come on. Violence suddenly becomes order. And any kind of legal check, any oversight, is just dismissed as interference. When words don't mean anything anymore, well, the law becomes optional, and force gets to decide what's right and wrong.
So how do they pull this off? Well, they have a toolkit, and it's all based on fear. First, you dehumanize your enemies. You don't call them opponents, you call them pedophiles, criminals, invaders. Next, you rebrand enforcement not as justice, but as salvation. You talk in a way that just erases any mention of collateral damage. And maybe most importantly, you frame any criticism, doesn't matter how fair it is, as an act of pure betrayal. The goal of all this? To boil down our entire complicated world into one simple, brutal choice. Us versus them. You're either with us, or you're the enemy. And this gets us to the true goal of all this noise warfare. The point isn't to win you over. It's not about convincing you. It's about exhausting you, right? Think about it. The outrage cycles just keep coming, faster and faster, until they all blur together. And that's the real strategy. Because exhaustion breeds surrender. And that surrender leads us right here to the final and by far the most dangerous phase of this entire playbook, the endgame. This is what Robert Greene calls the tipping edge. It's the point of no return, where everything is on the line.
To really get this, you have to put yourself in that mindset. A cornered leader isn't thinking about their legacy. They're not thinking about the country's future. None of that matters. They are running on pure animal survival instinct. The only plan is to survive the next hour. And when that's your mindset, absolutely anything is on the table.
So from this tipping point, where does it all go? Well, there are really only 3 ways out, and let me tell you, none of them are pretty. Path 1, consolidation. The strategy works, the opposition breaks, and force just becomes the new normal. Path 2, collapse. The leader pushes too far, goes one step too many, and it triggers a massive, unified resistance that just shatters their power. Or Path 3, which might be the worst of all, stalemate. A long, grinding state of tension and conflict that just rots the entire country from the inside out.
So which path is it going to be? Well, what's fascinating here is that the answer doesn't come from polls or what people are saying on TV. It comes down to these 3 invisible pressure points. First, military obedience. When the order comes, do they follow it, no matter what it is? Second, economic tolerance. How much pain are people willing to put up with before they snap? And third, institutional courage. Will the courts, the justice system, the core pillars of our democracy, will they stand firm or will they buckle under the pressure? And that leads us to the final and maybe most chilling paradox in this whole strategy. It's what Robert Greene warned about. When leaders wage war to preserve power, they often create the conditions that destroy it. It's like a snake eating its own tail. The very things they do to hold on to power might be the very things that guarantee they lose.
So, you see, this isn't just some abstract political theory. This is about history. And you need to understand something about historians. When they look back at this exact moment, they're not going to care what was trending on social media or what the polls said. They're going to ask a much harder, much more revealing question. They're going to ask, what did people tolerate?
And that leaves us right here with one last question. And it's not for me to answer. It's for you. After seeing this pattern, after seeing the steps laid out, I want you to ask yourself quietly, of those 3 paths we talked about, which one do you think we're already on?